The Ino-Shika-Cho trio and Konohamaru once hated Boruto. They were angry at him because they believed he had betrayed Konoha and everyone who trusted him. However, during and after the mission to protect Eida from Mamushi, they slowly began to warm up to Boruto. So, what did Boruto do to end their trust? Before Boruto gained their trust, Konohamaru and the Ino-Shika-Cho trio were openly hostile towards him. They were willing to do whatever it took to capture Boruto or make sure he faced justice for the crimes he had been framed for by Kawaki, even though they did not know the truth. Their hostility is understandable. Because of Omnipotence, they believed that Boruto had killed Naruto, the Seventh Hokage, and his wife, Hinata. Naruto was an important figure in Konohamaru's childhood and played a major role in helping him grow into the shinobi he is today. He also helped create the peaceful world that the Ino-Shika-Cho trio have grown up in since the 4th Great Ninja War. Hinata was Naruto's wife, and because of the Omnipotence, everyone believes she was also the mother of their friend Kawaki. Their memories were rewritten, causing Boruto's and Kawaki's identities to be swapped. As a result, they see Kawaki as Naruto and Hinata's son, and Boruto as the one responsible for Naruto's and Hinata's disappearance. Considering how important Naruto, Hinata, and Kawaki are to them, it is easy to understand why Konohamaru and the Ino-Shika-Cho trio were so hostile towards Boruto. The problem is that if Boruto had never earned their trust, it would have become much harder for him to fight the Divine Trees and protect Konoha, the shinobi world, and his comrades. Fighting enemies as powerful as the Divine Trees without reliable allies would put Boruto at a huge disadvantage. By earning the trust of important allies with different skills, abilities, and talents, Boruto greatly increases his chances of saving the world from the Divine Trees. So, what exactly did Boruto do to earn the trust of Konohamaru and the Ino-Shika-Cho trio, despite them still being influenced by Omnipotence to believe he's Konoha's enemy, and despite no one knowing that Kawaki was the one who framed Boruto for Naruto's and Hinata's disappearance? In this video, I'll break down the actions Boruto took that gradually earned the trust of these important allies. Before Boruto earned Konohamaru's trust, it was clear that Konohamaru did not want to work with him. He only chose to do so because the situation left him with no other choice. This was shown during the battle where Boruto saved both Himawari and Sarada. Instead of thanking Boruto for saving them, Konohamaru became angry. He questioned what Boruto was plotting by returning to Konoha as if nothing had happened, and asked whether Boruto understood the position he was in. At the end of that mission, Boruto was badly injured after his battle with Jura and lost consciousness. Rather than treating him as an ally, Konohamaru arrested him by placing chakra sealing cuffs on his wrists, preventing him from using chakra or performing any jutsu. Now compare that to what happened during the mission to protect Eida from Mamushi. After Boruto earned Konohamaru's trust, Konohamaru was willing to create a false story to protect Shikamaru, Mitsuki, and Boruto. His goal was to stop Shikamaru from being exposed as the person secretly helping Boruto protect Konoha from behind the scenes. If Boruto had never earned Konohamaru's trust, he would have continued to face hostility from him during every mission. However, Konohamaru was not the only person who distrusted Boruto before the Mamushi mission. The same was true for the Ino-Shika-Cho trio. Before the mission to protect Eida from Mamushi, Inojin only agreed to help Boruto and Kashinkoji because Kashinkoji appealed to his personal goal of protecting Himawari, the girl he has feelings for, from Jura. At the time of recording this video, Jura is the leader of the Divine Trees and the strongest known character in the Boruto manga. Inojin was not helping Boruto because he trusted him or accepted him as a comrade. This became clear when Boruto praised Inojin for mastering the mind transmission formation map jutsu in just one day after using the future information Kashinkoji had seen through his presensing jutsu. Instead of politely accepting the compliment, Inojin made it clear that he was only helping Boruto and Kashinkoji because he wanted to protect Konoha and Himawari. He wanted Boruto to understand that he had not forgiven him for what he believed was his betrayal, nor had he accepted him as a teammate. Inojin's angry expression made his feelings perfectly clear. Shikadai also only agreed to help with the mission because his father, the Hokage Shikamaru, asked for his assistance. He put aside his personal feelings towards Boruto and risked his life as a shinobi because he trusted his father's judgment. Chojo also joined the mission for her own reason. She refused to let Himawari take part in such a dangerous mission without her support. All of this shows that before Boruto earned their trust, none of them truly accepted him as a comrade. If something had happened to Boruto during battle, they would have not risked their own lives to save him out of friendship or loyalty. Instead, they would have fought alongside him only because protecting Konoha and completing the mission required Boruto's strength, not because they genuinely wanted to stand beside him as a trusted comrade. However, if you look at what happened during and after the mission to protect Eida from Mamushi, it becomes clear that something changed within all of them, just as it did with Konohamaru. Inojin is now shown carrying one of Kashinkoji's toads hidden inside his clothing, so that Kashinkoji can communicate with him whenever necessary. He is no longer hostile towards Boruto. In fact, he appears happy to be working alongside Boruto and Kashinkoji. He has even agreed to keep Kashinkoji's toad with him at all times and has accepted a new mission to always be ready to activate both his mind transmission jutsu and mind transmission formation jutsu whenever needed. The change in Inojin's attitude becomes even clearer after the mission. Boruto praised Inojin for the important role he played in helping to defeat Mamushi. Unlike before, Inojin did not reject Boruto's praise or respond with anger. Instead, he appeared genuinely happy to receive Boruto's recognition. This shows just how much his opinion of Boruto had changed. Chocho also begins to trust Boruto in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 34. After fighting alongside him, she says that Boruto will do anything to protect Konoha. This shows that she has started to believe that Boruto truly has Konoha's best interest at heart. Shikada will also begin to connect the pieces, just as his father has done. He starts to understand why Shikamaru now fully trusts Boruto and secretly works with him to protect Konoha. This also means Boruto gains another brilliant battle strategist as an ally in Shikadai. So what exactly did Boruto do to earn the trust of these important allies despite Omnipotence causing them to see him as Konoha's enemy? Have they finally started to see Boruto as Naruto's son again? Or have they simply realized that regardless of what they believe about his past, Boruto will always risk everything to protect Konoha and the people living in it? Boruto earned Konohamaru's trust through his actions during the mission in the Land of Wind to defeat Matsuri and Ryu. During that mission, Konohamaru's loyalty to Mueki and his favoritism towards her triggered Matsuri's jealousy. Matsuri had developed a crush on Konohamaru. Because she was a newly born divine tree created from Mueki, she could not properly understand or process even basic human emotions. Her inability to control her jealousy and emotions caused her to attack Konohamaru, putting his life in serious danger. This completely changed the mission. The original plan was for Mitsuki, Sarada, Araya, and Yodo to defeat Ryu first before joining Konohamaru to fight Matsuri together. However, because Matsuri suddenly attacked Konohamaru, he was forced to face her alone while the others were still battling Ryu. This was an extremely dangerous situation because Matsuri was a divine tree who was even stronger than Code. Code himself is stronger than Jigen, and Jigen was able to overpower Naruto and Sasuke fighting together unless Naruto used Baron mode. To survive this, Konohamaru followed Shikamaru's advice, which was to take advantage of Matsuri's romantic feelings for him. When Matsuri began trying to devour Konohamaru, she suddenly started crying. Because she did not yet understand human emotions, she did not realize that she was crying because deep down she did not want to hurt Konohamaru. Her feelings for him were stopping her from carrying out her instinct to devour him. Konohamaru noticed this and told Matsuri that her tears proved she was sad and that she did not truly want to kill him. His words reached her heart. For the first time, Matsuri realized that Konohamaru was telling the truth. However, this created a conflict inside her. Her instincts as a divine tree were telling her to devour Konohamaru, while her heart wanted to protect the person she had fallen for. Seeing this, Konohamaru told Matsuri to hold his hand. He said that holding hands could be the beginning of a special relationship between them, something Matsuri deeply wanted. Believing this was the start of the relationship her heart desired, Matsuri reached out and held Konohamaru's hand. What she did not realize was that Konohamaru wanted her to hold his hand so he could use 2 giant Rasengans to defeat her. Although Konohamaru created the perfect opportunity to finish Matsuri, he could not bring himself to do it. Hearing Matsuri call his name in sadness made him hesitate. Konohamaru is naturally a compassionate and empathetic person who cares about other people's feelings and wants to do the right thing. Taking advantage of someone who had opened their heart to him did not feel right. Because of this, he stopped his attack before it was too late. Even so, the attack had already destroyed the lower half of Matsuri's body along with both of her arms. Only her head and upper chest remained intact. Matsuri now felt completely betrayed by the person she trusted and cared about most. Her sadness turned into anger. She became determined to devour Konohamaru, even if it meant going against what her heart truly wanted. At that moment, Konohamaru was about to die. The others could not save him because they were still occupied fighting Ryu. Just as Matsuri was about to devour Konohamaru, Boruto suddenly arrived on the battlefield. The moment he appeared, Boruto threw a shuriken towards Matsuri and Konohamaru. As soon as the shuriken reached them, Boruto used the Flying Raijin Jutsu to teleport instantly to its location. In a single strike, Boruto sliced through Matsuri and defeated her, saving Konohamaru's life. Konohamaru never expected Boruto to be the one who saved him. After all, Konohamaru had treated Boruto with hostility even after Boruto had protected Konoha from Code and his army of kilograms, and later from Jura and Hidari. Konohamaru was even the person who arrested Boruto after Jura seriously injured him and left him unconscious. From Konohamaru's perspective, Boruto had every right to leave him behind. Instead, Boruto chose to save him. Because of Boruto's actions, Konohamaru also obtained Matsuri's Stone Soul Bulb, the item he needed to save Muegi after Matsuri's defeat. However, saving Konohamaru was not the only thing Boruto did. What surprised Konohamaru even more was what Boruto did next. Boruto immediately began throwing Flying Raijin markers around the battlefield to prepare for his fight against Jura, while also creating a safe escape route for Konohamaru. Boruto then urgently told Konohamaru to get as far away from him as possible with the Thorn Soul Bulb. He also instructed him to take Sarada and the others back to the place where they had first met the Sen Shinobi. At that moment, Konohamaru realized that Boruto somehow knew about the mission. Before Boruto could question him further, Boruto urgently told him to leave immediately. Boruto's expression and the urgency in his voice made it clear that his greatest concern was Konohamaru's safety. Before Konohamaru could escape, Jura fired a tail beast bomb at both of them. Boruto reacted instantly. He grabbed Konohamaru and flew into the air, getting both of them out of their attack's path. In doing so, Boruto deliberately kept Jura's attention focused on himself, allowing Konohamaru the chance to escape safely. From above, Boruto then used a wind-style jutsu to send Konohamaru flying far away from both himself and Jura, allowing Konohamaru to land safely and run towards the others exactly as Boruto instructed. What Konohamaru later realized was that Boruto had secretly prepared a backup plan before the mission even began in case everything went wrong. Without Kashinkoji knowing, Boruto had already thought ahead and organized a strategy to make sure everyone could escape safely if the mission failed. Because of Boruto's planning, quick thinking, and strategic mindset, Konohamaru, Sarada, Mitsuki all returned safely to Konoha with Matsuri's Stone Soul Bulb, allowing Muegi to be freed from a divine tree. Although Araya sadly lost Yodo during the battle, he also returned with Ryu's Stone Soul Bulb, which was later used to free Shinki from his divine tree. Because of everything Boruto did during this mission, along with the many times he had previously protected Konoha, Sarada, and Himawari from Code, Jura, and Hidari, Konohamaru began to question whether Boruto was really the traitor everyone believed him to be. Konohamaru finally revealed these doubts during the mission to protect Eida from Mamushi while he was being questioned by Lord Kubo. After hearing Konohamaru's thoughts, Shikamaru realized he could trust him with the truth. Shikamaru revealed to Konohamaru that he was the person secretly working with Boruto behind the scenes to protect Konoha and the shinobi world. As a result, Konohamaru became one of Boruto's most important allies, secretly working alongside Boruto and Shikamaru to protect Konoha and the entire shinobi world. What earned the trust of the Ino-Shika-Cho trio was the way Boruto worked alongside the team and followed Shikamaru's strategies throughout the mission. Using the Flying Raijin Jutsu and his ability to fly, Boruto moved across different parts of Konoha to fight Mamushi and his clones. He prevented them from destroying buildings and other structures, and he repeatedly saved civilians by getting them out of danger. Boruto's actions were never about earning anyone's trust. Everything he did was simply to protect his home, Konoha, and its people, regardless of what Omnipotence had done to alter everyone's memories or what they believed about him. This became clear to everyone involved in the mission, including Kashinkoji, Sarada, Konohamaru, Mitsuki, Shikadai, Chocho, Inujin, Delta, Kawaki, Eida, Daemon, Shikamaru, Amado, Sumire, and Himawari. After Boruto was captured by the Konoha police, they realized that he had actually been fighting the Mamushi clones that were attacking the village. When Nishi picked up Boruto's blade, it immediately began draining a large amount of his chakra and forcing him to drop it. If you do not know why Boruto's blade has this ability, I have linked a video explaining Boruto's new sword in this video's description. The moment Nishi dropped the blade, Boruto used the Flying Raijin Jutsu to teleport directly to it, freeing himself from the restraints that had been placed on him. Instead of attacking the Konoha police, which everyone would have expected based on their altered memories of him, Boruto calmly placed his blade back into his scabbard. He then praised Nishi for his skill before warning both him and the other police officers to run away if they encountered a divine tree, so they would not be killed. Everyone watching who still doubted Boruto's intentions and witnessed this. Later, before Inogen's mind transmission formation map jutsu was temporarily deactivated, Shikamaru instructed Boruto to regroup with Team 10. However, Boruto realized that something was wrong. He understood that Lord Cooper's interrogation was distracting Shikamaru from directing the battle. Boruto also realized that Kashinkoji already had a plan to deal with the situation, but knew Kashinkoji's plans often involved someone being placed in danger. Instead of heading towards Team 10, Boruto rushed to the Hokage's office. When he arrived, he discovered that Lord Cooper's life was in danger. Without hesitation, Boruto threw his blade while still in mid-air and sliced through the eyes and heads of the Mamushi clones surrounding Lord Cooper. He then activated his Kama seal and absorbed the flames that were burning Lord Cooper, saving his life. Sai and Shikamaru witnessed everything. From Sai's and Lord Cooper's perspective, Boruto had no reason to save him. Lord Cooper wanted Boruto executed for the crimes he believed Boruto had committed, so it made no sense for Boruto to risk his own life to save someone who wanted him dead. When Inogen's mind transformation map jutsu became activated again, I assume everyone on the team was certainly informed about why communication had been cut off and what Boruto had done to save Lord Cooper. As a result, Lord Cooper stopped interfering with Shikamaru, allowing him to continue directing the mission to protect Eida as Konoha's battle strategist. Boruto's determination to protect Konoha did not stop there. The team later came up with a plan to lure Mamushi and all of his clones towards Eida so they could gather in one place. The goal was to reduce their numbers enough for Sarada to eliminate them all at once with her Mangekyou Sharingan. However, because Sarada had already used a large amount of chakra earlier in the battle, she collapsed after using her Mangekyou Sharingan again. As the Mamushi clones surrounded her and prepared to kill her, Boruto reacted immediately. He rushed to her location, gently caught her and carried her safely out of danger before placing her on the ground. At that point, the strongest fighters still standing were Boruto, Kawaki and Daemon. However, Kawaki's scientific ninja body overheated, forcing him out of the battle. That left Daemon fighting well over 1,000 Mamushi clones by himself while Boruto made sure Sarada was safe. Once Himawari healed Sarada, even though she remained unconscious, Boruto asked Konohamaru to stay with her. He immediately returned to the battlefield. While Daemon fought a huge number of Mamushi clones on one side, another group surrounded Eida and attempted to devour her. Before they could reach her, Boruto arrived and defeated them, all with a single slash of his blade. This created the opportunity Daemon needed to use his reflection ability to eliminate as many Mamushi clones as possible before escaping with Eida to create more distance between them and the remaining clones. Boruto also knew Daemon could not hold off so many Mamushi clones forever. He immediately flew after Daemon and Eida, defeating many of the Mamushi clones, chasing them with his blade. This continued until Inogen used the information he had gathered about Mamushi's weakness to defeat Mamushi and all of his remaining clones. These actions convinced the Ino-Shika-Cho trio that Boruto would do whatever it took to protect Konoha, its shinobi and its civilians. For Shikamaru, Mitsuki, Himawari and Konohamaru, who had already chosen to trust Boruto despite Omnipotence, this mission only reinforced that they had made the right decision. Boruto has now gained two brilliant battle strategists in Shikamaru and Shikadai. He also has powerful allies in Sarada, Mitsuki, Himawari, Konohamaru, Chojo, and Inogen, whose mind transmission jutsu and mind transmission formation map jutsu allowed the entire team to communicate instantly and locate enemies across the battlefield. Boruto may have also earned the trust of Daemon and Eida through everything he did to stop Mamushi from devouring Eida. That would be a major addition to his allies. At the time of recording this video, Daemon is one of the strongest characters in the Boruto manga, with only Jura being stronger than him. Eida also possesses the ability to observe present-day events and everything that has happened since the day she was born. That ability could become extremely valuable to Boruto for gathering information. After all, even though Eida unintentionally played a major part in destroying Boruto's reputation and turning the world against him, Boruto still fought with everything he had to protect her. He held no grudge against her. That alone may be enough to earn both Eida's and Damon's support in the future. Given everything Sai has discovered about Boruto, he may also become one of Boruto's allies. If you want to know whether Sai has finally discovered the truth about Boruto, you can also watch the video linked in this video's description. Although Boruto has gained many powerful new allies, the mission to protect Eida also created a dangerous new problem. The goals of Amado and Kawaki do not fully align with Boruto's. Boruto's allies are willing to support his goal of protecting Konoha and the shinobi world. However, Amado and Kawaki are different. Each of them is pursuing a personal goal that could eventually put them on a collision course with Boruto. Amado's only real goal is to revive his daughter by using Kawaki's Kama seal. Because of that, his loyalty is not to Boruto or even to Konoha. His loyalty is to that goal, and for now, Kawaki, because Kawaki possesses the Kama seal that can bring his daughter back to life. Once Amado achieves that goal, no one knows what he might do next. Kawaki is also loyal to his own objective. His goal is to rid the world of every Otsutsuki. Right now, Kawaki is working with Boruto because he needs Boruto's strength to help defeat the Divine Trees. However, imagine what could happen if Amado upgrades Kawaki's abilities to the point where Kawaki believes he can defeat the Divine Trees by himself. At that point, Kawaki will no longer need Boruto. Instead, he will try to kill him because Boruto is also an Otsutsuki. If Kawaki finds a way to defeat Jura, the leader of the Divine Trees, who's threatening to devour Naruto, the person Kawaki cares about most, then he will have no reason to continue his alliance with Boruto. Once Jura is no longer a threat, Kawaki's attention will almost certainly turn back to Boruto because in Kawaki's eyes, Boruto is still an Otsutsuki who must die. Amado will also have every reason to continue upgrading Kawaki's abilities because Kawaki must remain alive if he ever wants to revive his daughter. There's another major risk. Amado and Kawaki now know the identities of the people secretly working with Boruto behind the scenes to protect Konoha and the shinobi world. If they expose these people to Konoha's elders and leaders, their lives, reputations, and position within the village could all be placed under serious danger. In fact, in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 35 already showed that Amado had begun making his plans behind the scenes. Amado took advantage of the fact that Kashinkoji regularly communicates with Inojin. He gave Inojin a scroll and told him that it contained data from the battle against Mamushi. Amado said the information might be useful and asked Inojin to pass the scroll to Kashinkoji the next time they met. However, Amado secretly left out one very important detail. Kawaki had used Sukuna Ikuna to shrink himself and hide on the scroll so that no one would notice he was there. Amado knew that Kashinkoji would naturally become curious about the information inside the scroll and would want to bring it back to the hideout to examine it. At that point, Kashinkoji had not yet received another update from his present Shinjutsu about the possible futures involving the meeting between Amado and Inojin. Because he did not know how those possible futures would end, Kashinkoji decided to retrieve the scroll first and wait until his present Shinjutsu revealed more information before opening it. So Kashinkoji summoned the scroll to the hideout. Without realizing it, he also summoned Kawaki, who was still hidden on the scroll. This had been Amado's plan all along. Once inside the hideout, Kawaki used Sukuna Ikuna to return to his normal size. Amado had also secretly placed one of his toads on Kawaki's body. Using that toad, Amado spoke through it and activated Kashinkoji's emergency shutdown code. The code immediately caused Kashinkoji to lose consciousness. Once Kashinkoji had passed out, Amado used the same toad to summon both Kashinkoji and Kawaki back to his laboratory in Konoha. At this point, no one knows exactly what Amado plans to do with Kashinkoji. However, this has already had major consequences for Boruto. Amado and Kawaki now know the location of Boruto and Kashinkoji's hideout. On top of that, Kashinkoji, the person who gives Boruto information about possible futures through his present Shinjutsu, has been captured by Amado while unconscious. This means Boruto could lose one of his greatest advantages, the ability to prepare for future events using Kashinkoji's present Shinjutsu. And that raises an even bigger question. What if Amado finds a way to steal Kashinkoji's present Shinjutsu? What if he gives that ability to himself? Or even worse, what if he gives it to Kawaki? If either Amado or Kawaki were to gain the power of present Shinjutsu, Boruto could lose one of his greatest advantages while his enemies gain it instead. That will completely change the balance of the battle against the Divine Trees to protect Konoha and the shinobi world even more difficult. Yes, Boruto gained valuable allies during their mission to protect Eida, but the information that was revealed to Kawaki and Amado has also left Boruto in a much more vulnerable position. We'll have to wait for the upcoming chapters of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex to find out what Amado plans to do with Kashinkuji. In my next video, I'll break down how Amado has strategically placed himself in a position where Kawaki relies on him more than ever before. I'll also explain how Amado has made himself almost impossible for Kawaki to replace, and why Kawaki has become even more dependent on him, and what benefits and the consequences of that could be. Until then, let me know in the comments what you think will happen to Kashinkuji. What do you think Amado is really planning to do with him? Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I'll see you in the next one.